Hello and welcome back to Crafting with Claus. I'm Jessica Kringle, but most of you know me as Mrs. Claus. And we are counting down to those 25 glorious days of Christmas in the month of December and doing a different craft project each day. And so we'll be counting down, and today I'm going to show you how to do something out of one of these little fun kits here. But first, let's go ahead and change our Advent over from the 11th to the 12th. Oh my goodness, we are halfway there to Christmas Eve, till Santa's glorious flight, right? So, these craft kits can be purchased in the craft stores in various places, and a lot of them have, like this one makes up to 24 of these. So if you're going to be giving gifts to all of your classmates, or maybe you run a group where, you've got a bunch of children and they each need to be able to make a little craft together or something. These are some really great ways. So here's a Christmas tree, and there's one with Santa on the front of it, and here's some reindeer. But the one that we're going to make today is the snowman. So I'm going to set these aside so they're not in our way. So this had several in the kit as well, and I've used a lot of them. So I'm going to just dump out all of the ingredients that are left here. Okay, and this didn't really come with instructions, so you just kind of need to follow the picture here, and if you make it a little bit differently, well then that's okay, because it's yours. You got to make it your own. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and make the hat. Now the hat has a little dot in the top of it. You can take that out so that you can create something with which to hang it. So if you've got some ribbon or some yarn or fishing wire or fishing line, works really well. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and tie a knot in this so that it makes a loop. And also the knot will help hold it inside that hat, and it won't accidentally pull through, because once it's glued together it would be kind of a nightmare trying to get it back in there. And what I'm going to do to make sure that my knot is big enough is go ahead and do this twice to make, it's not really a double knot, that means something completely different, but it's two knots in the same spot so that it's extra big, and that way when it holds up the hat it won't come through. Now, going to be really honest with you, this kit, these hats are super fragile, so not good for young kids, and even I broke that one when I was trying to put everything together, and I just simply glued everything back in place. Alright, so that'll make a cute decoration all by itself. Alright, so then the next thing we've got is the blue hat band that goes around it. Now I noticed that the hat band was a little bit bigger than the hat itself, and so I trimmed a little bit off of there, and the reason for that is that way all of the points of the hat band are touching the hat, and it won't be as likely to unravel. And you can see there's a seam in the hat. I'm going to line up the seam in the hat band. Now something else I didn't quite understand about this kit was that some of the foam pieces are self-adhesive, meaning that you just peel and stick, and some of them didn't have any adhesive on them. But I will also say that I didn't find this adhesive to be that horribly strong, so I'm going to put a little bit of my hot glue on there. Now you want to make sure that you use a low temperature hot glue so that you don't melt your foam. You want to make sure that you never touch the metal part of your glue tool to the foam, and you can see that my hat's coming apart already. They're not all as fragile as this one, I promise you that. I really like these. It's just that the snowman was so cute, and maybe you can find a way to find these supplies and make your own knot from a kit. That's what would be ideal. If I saw a bunch of these little hats somewhere, and you can maybe find them in felt, different ways. You would just want to make sure that they're a good size to fit on an ornament, and this one happens to be plastic. All right, and then our hat also has some little holly with berries here, and so those we will use to decorate the front of the hat. And again, I'm going to put just a drop of glue on here to make it a little bit stronger, the hold, because I found that these were kind of falling off as I was working with them when I made the sample guy here. So you still want to peel the paper off of the back of it so that it doesn't become dislodged by it falling off of the paper itself too. I went ahead and made the holly in a little V shape here. Okay, and you can see, and as the glue sets or cools, you want to kind of give it just a little squish to hold it on there so that it's nice and tight. I love this little hat. All right, and then the next thing we've got are some little berries for the holly. And again, going to put just, and you've got to be really careful. Now they do sell a foamy glue that's specifically to be used with, Mrs. Claus glued it to her thumbnail there. That's specifically meant to be used with this kind of craft foam. And if you want to invest in that, that works. Otherwise, you can use, like I said, a low temperature hot glue, or even the tacky glues work just fine. Okay, you can put that on there. Now this one, because it's got so many little parts, would not be good for little people. So I'm going to make sure that you don't have this in danger of anyone who could be swallowing it. So if you have a little sibling, you don't want to let them get a hold of these little parts. As much as it is to want to share and craft together with your brother or sister, got to make sure that they're safe first and foremost. All right, so there we are, done with our little hat. I'm going to set that aside. And the next thing we will do is go ahead and put his little face together. So these are plastic, and I like to look and see which side kind of is the best, is the cleanest and clearest, and doesn't have any little scratches in it or anything. And so we're going to put his face on him first. So we'll find the two little black pieces for the eyes. Now again, these have paper to peel off, and they're slightly sticky, but I just wouldn't trust them to stay on. So add a little bit more glue. Now certainly if you were in a big group and just trying to hurry and do something fun together, then maybe you wouldn't want to take the time to add glue to these. But if you want them to last, it is definitely worth it. Okay, and then just a touch of glue on each of the spots where the eyes go, and then we'll be able to peel these off. You want to work quickly when you put the glue on there because it's already starting to cool and set. You want to make sure that it's ready to grab a hold of the new little piece of foam. These would be cute if you were making your own instead of using the kit. If you had some googly eyes or something, that would be adorable. Or felt, kind of like the reindeer yesterday. You know, you could find these little balls, for inexpensively in some of the stores, and then just create whatever kind of face on there you want to. Now, this is so cute. It's a little wedge. A little triangle wedge that's supposed to be the carrot nose that goes on our snowman here. Whoops. Put that right between the eyes and down below just a little bit. Okay. And then our little friend here has two little pink circles for some rosy cheeks because he's nice and cold being outside there in the freezing snow. On my Facebook page, there's a snow flake, and then somebody put on it as a meme Frosty when he was a baby, or a baby picture of Frosty. I thought that was so cute, very clever. I love those clever, funny things. I do have a Facebook page. It's under Jessica Kringle, Mrs. Claus. Hopefully you recognize me on there. And if you do make some of these, I would love for you to share pictures or ideas that you have. Okay, so we've got our little cheeks, and then there are these little bitty black dots, again on a piece like this, that are for making the mouth. Now these can be a challenge. They're so teeny, trying to put a piece of glue on them. So you've got to be really, really careful. But the first one goes on the inside of the cheek on the very bottom. And again, I'm just following this picture and making it look like this picture because it came with no instructions. So here's a little secret I have for when I'm trying to make things centered, because sometimes it's not easy. So what I'll do is I've got the outside ones. This one will go in the very center. So I'll put it lined up with the nose, but down below a little bit so that our snowman can be smiling. And then I'll take the other two and then I can put them smack dab in between the previous two so that everything is pretty much evenly spaced. And that way you're getting a nice spacing without having to measure. Now certainly if you like to be a perfectionist about things, you could have measured it and taken a little pen and made a mark there so that you knew exactly where you wanted to put these. I tend to be more of an eyeballer when I'm doing my crafts. All right. Okay, and then we're done with our little snowman face. And you know that I do love snowmen, so this is fun. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and work with the scarf. And the scarf has these two little pieces that hang down, and they came with tassels. So you could also take and just cut, if you had your own foam, you could just cut little pieces. You could also use yarn, that would be fun. These, I'm going to go ahead and just stick these on here. They are already sticky, and the foam sticks pretty well to the foam, easier than it does to the plastic. Give it a nice squeeze so that you make sure that it's adhered to itself. And then what we need to do is put our scarf in a circle. So I'm going to put just a little bit of glue on the edge there, and then fold it over, and then as you hold it while it sets, make sure you don't burn your fingers because it's hot. But I'm using a low temperature. Remember I said that before, using a low temperature glue gun, and you buy a special low temperature glue so that you don't burn the foam. It's very important. I'm going to take and put just a thin line of glue around, and you don't have to hit every spot. You can do dots around. Put glue all the way around there, and then I'm going to set our snowman on top of there and give it a nice, don't push too hard because you'll squish the foam, but give it a nice firm press. Hold it while it sets. And then we'll also want to glue the hat on next. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take a little bit of glue, put it right around the rim of this hat here, and then I'm going to press that down and hold it firmly while it sets. All right, there we go. And then our last step is to add these. So one is going to go on top and one's going to go underneath. So on the on top one, I need to put the glue on the back side of it. And you want to cover up that seam that you have where you glued the two pieces together. And then on the other one, I'm going to put the glue on the front side of it. Put it at a little angle so it's different. And then you hold those down while they dry. And there we have our little snowman. So we've got two of those from the kit. The other ones I gave to some good friends of mine so that their kids could put them together. But look for those kits. They're a great and inexpensive and usually pretty easy way to get some decorations and get some good crafting time in together. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I'm glad that you did, and it's good to see you again, and I hope to see you tomorrow when we're going to make some yarn dolls, okay? Thanks. Bye-bye.